Good afternoon, everybody. Quick audio visual check. If you can, let me know that you can hear my voice and see my screen. Hi, Carrie. Hey, Jerry. Hey, Brian. Get started here 1 second. Hold on. All right, let's get started. Ken, it's good to see you. Michael. Otis, welcome. Mr. Stevenson, g'day, mate. John Robert, welcome. Doug, it's good to see everybody here today. Thank you so much for all the time that you're spending with me today. Carrie says my audio is spotty. Anybody else have any issues with the audio? All right, then I'm going to go. Hey, guys. We are not the company that has $150 indicators. We are not the company that has free trials on 500 different tools. We are not the company that has rehashed, regurgitated versions of 20, 30-year-old indicators with lag and repopulating signals and signals that appear late and signals that disappear. If that is what you're looking for, you're in the wrong place today. I spent the better part of 3 or 4 years attending every webinar on the earth, it seemed, working for an investment fund that wanted me to explore commercially available trading systems, and I quickly learned and ascertained that 98% of the stuff on planet Earth purported to be useful for helping traders in the futures, forex, equities, and now cryptocurrency space is garbage. And my engineering partner and I, Ron, set out nearly 13 years ago to build things that we would want to own. And today we're going to show you the results of the tool that we've constructed from scratch to work in veritably every market and time frame of that market on the planet Earth. I'll tell you why it works. More importantly, I'll prove to you that it worked. We're the only company on Earth at this point that I believe does this because it's hard. It took 3 years of failure and redesign and failure and redesign and then failure again and final design to see through the smoke of the mystery. Why did 90% of traders fail within the first 90 days and lose 90% of their account? Why was that number consistent year after year after year? And so this week, we've done some pretty remarkable things. We've given thousands of traders access to 2 days worth of forecasts, times, and directions in advance. We gave trading rules to apply to those signals as they arrived in the future in advance. And now today we come together 2 days later to see if what was predicted came to pass. Now, why does this work? How does this work? It works because I believe banks, trading institutions, large organizations with money hide patterns in complex databases of data. And human eyes aren't meant to see these things. We ask Alexa to buy us more shampoo. We ask Google what the weather will be tomorrow. Cortana, why my Windows crashes so often. But very few people, if any, besides us, are taking the power of algorithms to look into the messy and chaotic data of the markets we trade and asking a very simple question. Are there any patterns reliably recurring lately? I could show this to people in my neighborhood and in my area. And a few years ago, I think well over 2/3 of them wouldn't know what this meant. They would say it's a piece of art, maybe something from a video game. There's no useful information here. But when we apply the right tool to chaotic information, to chaotic seemingly noise, we understand that there's information that's useful in the broad spectrum of the chaos. It's not noise. It's a website link. It's not noise. It's a link to a menu at a restaurant because COVID. It's not noise. It's a link to a special offer or a venue for a band in a city. You have to apply the right technology to chaos to see the patterns. And so we can look at this example in crude futures and see seemingly chaos, markets going up and down, very much full of noise, and one day it's up and one day it's down and one day it's sideways. But if we spent a few minutes looking even just by hand, we could see across a period of time that there are times in the markets where moves are occurring with consistency. There are times in the market you trade when we sit down and look specifically for a pattern. And more importantly, when we identify those times and directions, in this case, a 5:30 signal, we can prepare for the next iteration of that time. I tell the story of a friend of mine whose husband was cheating on her. This man was very holy. One of the first gifts he ever gave to me was a purportedly 1,000-year-old oil lamp from Israel. And his wife found out that he was, or suspected that he was cheating on her. And she hired a personal investigator, a private detective, and he gave her a report. And the report said, your husband is meeting a woman in the parking lot of the hospital where they both worked. He comes out of the building at 5:10. She comes out of the building at 5:15. And then the two of them drive to a local quote unquote establishment. And so my friend took the report and she got to the establishment 5 minutes before they were set to arrive, according to the report, the prediction, and caught him in the act. Things aren't happening randomly. If we look for patterns, we will find them. We've spent the last 13 years, nearly 3,000 customers in every major market of the world, finding the patterns and the times that the markets move. Earlier this week, I sent you a prospecting email. Ken, you got it. Mike, you got it. Otis, you got it. And I dared you to come and follow along and see what happens at the times. Sending the email out on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we follow along and we watch and see. And then Thursday, today, we come back together and analyze, was this useful information or was it not? Were the patterns there? Were they productive? Were they reasonable? And so the first thing we're going to look at today are signals. What happened at the raw times? Did anything we expect to see take place? Did it go up at the buying times? Did it go down near the selling times? Or was it all a cacophony of noise and misinformation? And then we'll go back and apply a specific trading rule to those raw signals. What if we applied zero discretion, a specific entry, stop, and exit or target? Was it a profitable endeavor? And so I'm going to sneak out here and go back to our workspace and look for some information. We're going to scroll back and look at the morning session of the NASDAQ. And before we do, I want to remind everybody what was sent out earlier this week. It's my job to help you see something that very few people want to acknowledge. It's my job to help you understand that you're playing a fixed game. This is a casino, it's not a market. And the people in charge decide what boxer goes down in the fight. They decide what round of the fight the boxer will lay on the mat. It's very much, in my opinion, a fixed game. And so earlier in the week, we sent you this link. And we sent you screenshots of times that markets were potentially going up and down. Just like my friend's detective report. Times where we would catch institutions and banks cheating. For oil and the S&P and the DAX and the euro currency and the E-mini Dow and Ethereum and the euro dollar. And so on this E-mini NASDAQ chart, you'll see a series of times. And I just want you to look at the first three, right at the open, the wild, wild west of the E-mini NASDAQ. Remember, you've had this chart since Tuesday afternoon. This chart has been available since Tuesday. And Ken, what did the software say to look to see happen at 9:23 on Tuesday? Otis, at 9:23, the software warned us nearly 48 hours ago to look for selling pressure at 923. Can you see that, brother? What did the software Otis alert us to potentially happening at 936 since Tuesday? People were going to come in and try to push prices higher. Interesting. And then in the next sequence, it said to look for the market to drop at 947. Ken, what's going on here? Up from 904. And when we come and look at the entirety of it all, Ken, it appears we've stumbled on to a den of thieves, manipulators, and liars. And as we progress throughout the day, we see more and more evidence of people buying and selling at times we've known about since Tuesday. That happened today, and it happened yesterday. And so, Ken, I'm going to look at the times we've had since Tuesday for yesterday, and I'm going to pick out some highlights. Ready? Everywhere I draw an arrow is an obvious place that the program warned us we would catch somebody cheating. And I want you to look at the percentage of times where the signal was obviously near the beginning of an up move, or Ken, obviously near the beginning of a down move. We've been corresponding for some time, right, Ken? And so I want you to see and look directly into the heart of darkness here today. And I want you to specifically look at what happens at the times we were expecting things to happen. Open at 9:31, down until 9:35, up until 9:48, down from 9:48 until 9:54, up until 10:03. What is happening in this market is that we're catching these people with their fingers in the proverbial cookie jar. Just like my friend caught her cheating husband. If we look at the Dow futures across 2 days worth of signals, this is actually the London session through the US session. We see some interesting things taking place. And here I want to show you the difference between the signal and the setup. We saw with the NASDAQ that well over half the time, when we arrived at the times and the directions we'd been waiting for, something happened. Something not so bad. Something akin to, wow, it went in the direction I was expecting it to go. But that's raw information. The setup leads us to the second dimension of what Warp allows us. We're looking for an edge in trading. No gambler wins 100% of the time unless you're Bernie Madoff. No gambler wins 100% of the time. We're looking for something that has an edge where over time we win more money than we lose. If we continue to play the game, the pile of chips in front of the person across from us can get smaller and smaller and smaller. And the pile of chips in front of us is bigger. Hey, Melissa. And so we want an edge. But trading isn't about the past. I was reading an advertisement just now from a competitor on a Facebook ad, And I was saying to myself, does anybody still fall for this stuff? Our zero lag indicator, our such and such moving average. And I remember thinking, nobody here's figured out that A, the game is rigged, and B, tools that tell you what just happened are useless. They're useless. I want to know what's going to happen next. Well, the only way to know what's going to happen next, in my opinion, is to use predictive software. Otherwise, what are you doing? You're blaming your fiance to be on the last ex-girlfriend you had. Well, my last ex-girlfriend didn't eat potato chips. Well, I'm not your last ex-girlfriend. I can't marry you. My ex-girlfriend, I have trust issues. Doesn't matter. It's in the past. And yet 90% of traders that I talk to and they show me what they're using, it's all garbage. And they come to the webinar and they realize it. Some of them have to come 2, 3, 4 times to come to grips with the fact that they've been snookered. That they've spent $5, $10, $15, $30, $100,000 on junk. So the edge is based on signals in the direction of the trend. Let me tell you what I mean by that. On the web page that I sent out, I gave a link to a video. And that video described the trading system that we've been teaching to basic traders, a basic trading system that we've been teaching to traders for a while. We'll be teaching how the signals can be traded by using one of 2 simple entry rules called the signal with trend or the puncture trade. The video provides an overview explanation for these. A maximum 1.5 ATR volatility stop will be used for the Thursday demonstration. Well, what does that mean, Michael? Let me show you. So we have the Dow. We've got the US market right here. Here we go. At 8:36, the software was warning us about selling pressure. Ken, we have a 120 period exponential moving average. A 120 period exponential moving average on the chart. When the signal appears in the direction of the trend, we go short or long. At 8:36, we are a blue dot below the moving average. At 8:36, the stop is 1.5 values of the average true range away. If we enter on the close of that candle and we hold it until the next signal, we lose $7. At 9:18, Ken, we're below the moving average. Below, 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 babaloo, below, 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 below. And then Melissa, right here, it closes above the moving average. The close of that candle per the video is right here. The stop goes 2 ticks underneath the low of the crossover candle. This is the candle that closed above the moving average. So we are now in the direction of the trend with a buying signal behind us. We enter at the close of the candle per the rules that were sent out on Tuesday, and we exit by the next signal, 10:12, 54 ticks. Blue, 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 babaloo. 11:15, Ken is in the direction of the trend. We enter on the close of the 11:15 candle. The market goes up a total of 85 ticks. $5 a tick is $450. Ken, over $400, we're going to go to break even. We end up flat by 12.27. I don't know if you would have locked in more or trailed it differently. The rules I gave out say, no. There's a loss where it crosses below the moving average right here, Melissa, comes up and hits the stop of minus 17. And then glorious 12.54. Beautiful 12.54 arrives. Like a movie where the cavalry arrives at the last minute. We enter on the close of the candle. The stop is 1.5 ATR values away. It's in the direction of the trend. And look, Ken, we get out at the high. It's a $75, a 75 tick move. 350, $375 move. Disappointing signal at 2:30. It takes out our stop by 1 tick, minus 40. 3:18 arrives, close of the candle. We get out by 6 o'clock for a 77 tick move. And now here's a curious thing. The signals are waiting for me on the right-hand side of the chart. That dotted white line on the bottom is telling me where I am in time right now. Everything to the right of that dotted white line is a signal that I'm waiting for. I have an appointment with it. And I have the times already for the Asian session. I have the times already for the London session. I have the times already for the US session tomorrow. No other software can do this. No other vendors provide this because it's hard. It's hard looking at the truth and seeing, oh my gosh, this is really happening. Let's add it up, shall we? 54 plus 0 plus 75 plus 77. 206 ticks to the upside, minus 40, minus 17, minus 7 is 142 net ticks times $5 per tick equals $710. Hypothetical, of course. It's today. This is it. That's where we are in time right now, James. How do we get to this point, right? How do we get to this point in time where the markets are this rigged?
Connection lost.
What happened in CL today? Let's look at the afternoon session of CL. Does this look like a random market to anybody? I'm not sure what contract for CL we're on right now. Let me make sure I'm on the right one. There we go, the May contract. A lot of signals on the 3-minute chart. Let me load the right template. Oh, this is the 1-minute chart, that's why. We'll go to the higher time frame first. We're looking for a selling pressure signal at 9:15, the open of the market, and that very first signal drops us down to the low, and we exit with $1,390 per contract. In the opening move. If we go back and look yesterday in CL, at the times the software gave us, it was an uptrend day all day from 8 o'clock to 8:06, $40 or $400 per contract. From 8:51 to 9:36 was $1,000, $170. We have a stop loss here of minus 55. Then we have a net gain here of 63. Then we have essentially a break-even trade by 11:27. Then we have a small gain here by lunchtime of 14 ticks on Wednesday using the predictive times. This doesn't just work intraday. We also have access to other markets. For example, if we're using this on equities, we've been tracking BABA for a while, and we saw that there was a buying pressure signal March 21st. The market opened from $99 and went to $123 since then. The next selling pressure signal in BABA on a daily time frame, Alibaba, is on March 31st, followed by buying pressure on April 24th and May 22nd. If we look at Ethereum, you'll remember the week before last, I had this chart, and I told everyone to watch for a buying pressure signal on March 13th. I had the white line right here, and I told everyone Ethereum is going to start going up. Yes, it does allow you to do that. And that Ethereum would go up until March 27th. The prior signal before that, we were looking for a down move from March 1st until March 14th. So Ethereum isn't done going up. Tesla, get ready. Get ready. March 24th, Thursday. March 24th, Thursday. That's today. And you can see we're above the moving average, and we have a window until April 4th, 4 days before my birthday. We can look at gold on a daily time frame, and I can tell you that in starting the close of tomorrow's market, we're going to see the price of gold potentially rise into the 4th of April. On the 9th, we had a pattern 5. Those of you that are software users, and we were expecting a move down into the 17th. Moving our way up for Bitcoin. The last signal on the chart was a pattern 5 indicating selling pressure. Pattern 5s tell us when a buying signal is about to go down, and pattern 4s tell us when a selling pressure signal is about to go up. March 23rd is the selling pressure signal. The next buying pressure signal is March 31st, about a week from now. When we look at the totality of the signals, we can see there are times where these very large moves are likely to occur in the direction of the trend. And then finally, looking at the E-mini S&P or SPY or whatever you trade for a living on the larger options time frames. If you're an options trader, today was the day for buying pressure, the close of yesterday actually, and we're expecting to see upward movement on the daily chart until April 7th. Upward movement until April 7th. So this works intraday, it works on daily time frames and weekly time frames. We can look at it intraday, for example, with Ethereum. We gave out the 5-minute signals for Ethereum on Tuesday. And again, a cursory examination of what took place after the fact throughout the Asian session reveals more often than not, when you get in, it goes in your direction. If you just follow along with your eyes, right, most of the time this thing is going in your direction right away. And when it doesn't, you kind of finish out where you started. How is Ethereum manipulated? Well, if there's a market, a bank can influence it, can it? If there's a market, a bank can influence it. Let's go ahead and click one thing for me here. This was the E-mini S&P on a 5-minute chart today, right? And you can sort of see starting out in the chop today, there were, starting after the unemployment report, there was a stop out here, followed by a stop out here. Wasn't looking too good. And then we came all the way up. And this is over $500, so we end up with a break-even trade by the time we finish at 12:30. It goes up $500, pulls all the way back. Then we get in and get out, get in and get out, and then get in and get out. So we finish net positive on the day. 8 plus 14 is 22, minus 9 is 13, minus 6 is plus $7 or $300 after slippage and commissions, using a basic trading system and the times that we've been waiting for on the chart. When we start looking at other markets like forex, we can see that same manipulation. Most of the forex traders are out on higher time frames like the 15-minute chart or even the hourly chart. And we can see that it has that same level of resolution over time. We can apply it to different markets. For example, the dollar CAD that closely tracks the prices and movements of oil futures and see what's happening there. We can look at Australian dollar versus the US dollar and track what's happening with the war in Ukraine and the export of their precious metals and resources, right? And always, 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 we're seeing the signals waiting for us in the future. What direction should we look out for, and how far should it go? So when we're looking at these signals, we can apply a basic rule set to them. We can apply an entry-exit rule set to them, or we can use them in conjunction with an existing trading program, right? Is there anyone who wanted me to look at a market that I haven't shown yet so far? We could kind of dig into it and analyze it together, or I can just keep going. Any markets from people who haven't bought the software yet, like Ken, that you want me to take a closer look at while we're here looking at these charts together? Wheat or soybeans? So what month are we on wheat? ZW, which one? GBP, new chart. What month, what contract month are we on? ZW, May. We'll try May, I guess. Yep, we'll do May. Okay. All right. So on an hourly time frame, we can see where we're at right here. The next signal that I'm waiting for is at 8 o'clock tonight. At 8 o'clock tonight, if my suspicions are correct, they'll come back and they'll run these stops before they get to 8:15. And then after 8:15, we have a wide open window overnight until 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. So these are weak futures. And you can kind of see, again, if we look from left to right, what's happening at these key times. Up at 1 a.m., down at 2:15, up at 4:45, down at 6:15 until 11:15, up until 2 o'clock, down until 9 o'clock. Now we're in the overnight again, 6:15 to 8:15, and then down. It violated the white line here as they drove back down to trip the stops, down at 6:45, up from 10:30 to 12:30, down until 8 o'clock Eastern tonight. Jean Robert, are you a customer yet? Yeah, one of the things I always worry about, and I'm sure it's not the case with you, I'm always worried that people come here to kind of get the times, and I don't want to be a signal service for you. So let me organize the signals here, and I'll load up a daily chart for you, and we'll take a look for wheat on a daily chart. And get rid of the drawing tools. Okay, it's loading up. It's just taking a lot of time. Okay, that's what we're looking at. Let's drop this down. One second. When I run the GoToWebinar, it takes a very long time. What time frame, Jean Robert? Daily? Yeah, Jean Robert, Brian will get in touch with you about that. All right, it's loaded. These are wheat signals here. I put the future times on there for you to see. Here's where we are in time right now. I'll go ahead and make the line dotted so you can see it a little better. The look back on this chart, if you're a customer at home like Gig, I know you're paying attention. It's a 3-day look back, trading days with a swing strength of 5. So if you're an existing customer looking at wheat on the daily chart, it's a look back of 3 days, 3-day cycle with a swing strength of 5. And if you're a force customer or an advanced warp customer, if we apply the split technique to this, you'll see that the last purchase point was the close of the market on March 18th and the next selling point appears to be April 1st. There is strong resistance at the following price level, the close of this day, 1064.25. Bear with me. There's support here. There's resistance here. And the next support level down, wow, it's down there. It's right here. Along the way, intermediate. Bear with me. I'll just give you a little cookie here. If you play these levels, you'll do very well. Let me take a screenshot and get it over to you here. Stand by. And I'll just get this over to you all. Yeah, everyone acts surprised, like, huh? Oh, wow. For the rest of us, it's sort of like business as usual. Can you tell me if that screenshot came through? I'll try to spread it out a little bit better so you can take a look at it closer. Where's there we go. Okay, I'll give you one more where it's opened up a little bit. Those of you coming to the EDGE conference in April, you'll learn a little bit more about what I just did with the horizontal lines there. Here's the next screenshot of wheat on a daily time frame. So that should get you closer to the mark. Okay, you're very welcome. There's no such thing as a random market. I want you to always presume that when you sit down to trade, you're trading against liars and thieves, right? Liars and thieves. Here's that same market on a 60-minute time frame, same settings. And you can see sort of what's happening at those levels, right, Gig? It's pretty bananas. So down until 1 a.m. tonight, up until 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. And there's some pretty convincing evidence here that time is the missing element in your trading. Down, up, down, and so on. All right, that's enough freebies. Do institutional patterns exist in the markets you trade? Is there anyone here who thinks after everything you were provided in advance and everything I've shown you after the fact that these markets are random? Not only are significant things happening at these times, but profitable things are happening at these times. When we look for signals in the direction of the trend, just applying a very basic rule set to the signals, wouldn't it be nice to get into moves where you have lower risk? You know when the moves are coming, so you're not sitting in front of the TV screen all day. Is this it? Is it going to work now? Is it going to work now? Is it going to work now? Is now the signal? Because your lagging foo-foo software doesn't really work well. Wouldn't it be nice to get in a trade and it's green right away? Oh, can you imagine? It's all based on this idea. This is what we believe. And I don't know if you believe this or not. Some of you do. Some of you have had this software for years, and you still can't believe it. You're playing on an unlevel field. You're walking into the Bellagio, into the Paris Hotel, into Caesar's Palace with a wad full of cash. And you proudly proclaim to the crowds, I've read all of the books about blackjack. I've studied under the blackjack masters online. Casino, be prepared to share the spoils of your wealth with me today. How many of you would do that? None of you. None of you are Rain Man. I'm an excellent card counter. I'm an excellent card counter. I'm an excellent driver. And yet, those of you who are not customers, you waltz into an even larger casino with men who send countries to war for profit, who pump trillions of free dollars into the marketplace for their buddies at the banks, causing inflation. And corn on the cob costs $90,000. And you proudly proclaim, I will scalp you and take your money today. I will swing trade against you with my zero lag moving average volume order flow trade of 8 indicator. Arr, arr, arr. I used to be that person. I used to have a heart full of hopes and dreams. And now I know. Now I know. Most of the people who see this presentation and don't purchase the software are too committed to their perspective. Michael, I've invested tens of thousands of dollars with this guy. You don't understand. I'm really close. I'm a couple layers of the onion away. I'm going to put a couple more pieces of the plan together. I'm building an algorithm. I got a system. I just need a few more hours, days, weeks, years, decades to put it together. I'm so close. How many of you have told yourself that story or heard that story from somebody else? And yet you come here week after week and you see this week after week. One guy came here, I threw him out. I threw out our friend. No, he came back. Hey, Chris, welcome back. I throw him out, and Brian, he comes right back in. He uses a different name, changes his email. People sneak into this webinar, and they still don't buy. One guy came for a year, Lars from Sweden. A year. Well, Michael, I guess I've been coming to the webinar for quite a long time now, and I'm convinced everything is on the up and up, so I want to be a customer. That's almost verbatim. It's a horrible racist impersonation, too, by the way, against Sweden. There's something, I'm a Swedish racist. There's something you don't hear every day. But it's true. People are so locked into what the market should be. Well, my volume just went up. It should go up from here. Well, the moving average crossed over. It should go down. It touched my super secret support level. It's supposed to go up now. And it doesn't. And it doesn't because you're using lagging indicators. Banks leave tracks in the trail. When they move their billions and trillions around, it happens at times that software can track. This is the reality of the universe you trade in. When Goldman pushes buttons, things happen, and those things happen at times. And they're distributed in such a way that you can't keep track of them all on time frames from 1 minute to hourly to daily time frames and in between. And there's no way your human brain can keep track of it. But the software can. Jean Robert, Brian's going to reach out to you. Brian, can you let me know that you saw the Jean Robert question? And Jeff, Mr. Siebert, you're here. Ken, you're here. You guys have been corresponding with Brian and I and sending these kind of cryptic emails and what's included and what about this and what about that. Then you see it week after week. You know what's up. People come and they watch it over and over again. Watch his hands, see if he slips his hands into his pockets. Is there anything up his sleeve? Where did the tiger go? Is it in the cage? Where did the tiger cage go? Is there a hole in the floor? Everyone's trying to figure out how I'm scamming them. And I'm not. It's impossible. The software sees the trail, sees the times in advance. This is who you're trading against. This is who you're trading against. When Goldman and others upgrade a rating on a stock, watch the sale of institutional shares after that upgrade. When Goldman Sachs and others downgrade a stock, watch who buys. The large brokerage firms, the institutional traders, the investment banks do not and never have had your best interests in heart. That is who you are trading against. That is who this software is tracking. That is the only reason why the software is predictive and gives us the signals in advance and profitable over time. That's it. That's the only reason why. Yeah, exactly, Gig. Those with the gold rule. And you're trading the same way the peasants are trading. And these guys sit up there on their castle thrones and just laugh. This is how most of you without the software are going to trade tomorrow. My order flow said you should go up. My trade of 8 indicator said it should go down here. And they're just laughing. I can't believe he bought our stop run. I can't believe they sold into that stop run. You guys ready to jack it up? All right, let's go. Stop filled, stop filled, stop filled, stop filled, stop filled, stop filled. Woo! Every day. I talk to thousands of traders over the last 13 years. Every day, this is what happens. This is what our customers do. When the thieves move, I move. When the thieves trade, I trade. When Goldman goes up, I'm already there with my order. Hey, who invited this guy? I know what time you were going to move. Shoot, are you using that Tacheon software? Yeah. Dang it. We follow. We let them pull our orders into profit. We let them pull our orders up and down, long and short. That's the difference. That's the difference. I want to be a part of your team. I know you are, Lowell. I want to be part of your team. We are engineers. We are not gurus. We build things, quality things. The German in me wants to build amazing quality things all the time. I never do stuff half-butt. I don't want to make something out of plastic. I want to make it out of 6061 aluminum. I don't want to use a stick welder. I want to use a TIG welder. I want everything to be as good as it can be. And over the last 13 years, that's what we've accomplished with our timing software. I want you to be a part of that. Jean Robert, I will tell you right now that based on what you've told me, you will fail. After 13 years, everyone who's said to me, Michael, I'm going to start trading and I'm going to earn the money to buy your software, fails. Every single person, not one exception, hundreds of conversations. The other side of that is, I'm going to take the money and buy your software, and I'm going to learn how to do this the right way. And then I'm going to slowly earn the money back I spent on your software and achieve my ROI and go from there. Those people do well. I don't say this to hurt you or bruise your feelings. I'm telling you based on every conversation I've had. I will never hear from you again. You will disappear into the shadows, shameful of what you've done, apologizing to people you've borrowed money from. It never ends the way you think it will. I'm going to take $50 into this casino. I'm going to turn it into $2,000. And once I have that, I'm going to buy your stuff. But you do what you got to do. You win battles by knowing the enemy's timing and knowing a timing which the enemy does not expect. I'm going to show you how we can give you the software, teach you the setup, give you our workspaces and templates, the training, and I'm going to give you a discount, a future based on the truth of how markets really work. Okay? You guys ready to learn how to get this? Here we go. On our website, you will see a product line. Our most popular product is the Tacheon Warp program. That's the one I've shown you here today.